Hello and welcome back to the Captain's Table podcast. This is our question and answer session, our After Dark session, where we take questions from the audience. If you missed our previous section where we talked about the Alliance Aid event, what's right, what's wrong, it'll be right above Axis's head. Click that link if you watch this after the fact. But if you're listening to this on our podcast format, you don't have to because you're listening to us right now. It's all chunked together because Spotify and Apple Podcasts likes it when I drop a 3-hour podcast, but YouTube hates it. So I have to split it up a little bit for everybody else. Oh, right. So with that being said, let me pull open the questions. We got a couple questions here. First question is from YouTube, from Red Marine, who asks, are any of you missing rewards?
I don't think so. I mean, I could check for you.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but...
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. They had problems with the reward turnouts.
I just got Praetorian about a week ago, and I'm still missing my allocated reward for that. So maybe it's also related?
Maybe. I've got all the jackets and everything from the event, so I think I've got everything.
I got all the rewards for the event, but not that. So maybe it's because I completed it before that glitch happened.
Yeah, maybe. I even got the red tractor beam. I checked. It looks like I got everything. I'm not missing anything.
I don't have the red tractor beam. I am missing that.
No. Check with the red armor.
Was
it's
it part of the red armor?
With the red armor. If you open the tab where the red armor is and you expand to see what else.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah. Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just nested in there.
I do like the Silverton jacket though. I haven't used it, but it does look neat.
Yeah, if you're missing Alliance Aid rewards, take a screenshot of like your in-game progress and submit a customer support ticket. That's all I can say. Like there ain't nothing we can do for you. There's no like recopy your account or like do a character repair. Like it's all on CIG's side. They have to fix it.
That's another thing you gotta add to. They gotta fix is making it consistent.
Making the reloads consistent. Yeah, because everybody plays. This is something that kind of crops up from time to time. The works on my machine, bro, kind of thing. Like I don't know what you're talking about. It works on my machine. Everybody plays their own little version of Star Citizen. Everybody gets their own little bugs sometimes. Their hardware and software combination. We literally had recently in my stream a couple months ago, someone came in with like an error code that I've never seen before. It was like some like really long string of codes. I posted about it on Blue Sky. And it turned out that the error code, we did some Googling, looked to the issue council and whatnot, and it turned out the error code led over to VR drivers, outdated VR drivers. Anti-cheat was catching it because this was the patch that CIG added, the experimental VR mode. And so it was flagging old VR drivers as hacks. And it wasn't letting you boot the game. It would drop you out with some sort of generic code, error code. And it turned out if you just uninstalled or updated to more modern, VR drivers, or if you just uninstalled your old VR drivers, it would give you a different error. So the guy had to clean out his registry, delete the drivers, clean out his registry, and then flush his DNS, and he managed to get back into Star Citizen. So depending on your hardware configuration, your software setup, you may have issues with Star Citizen that no one else has. Okay. And we have to remind ourselves that when we play Star Citizen, that just because it works for you doesn't mean it works for everybody.
Yeah. And it's Star Citizen is also in a weird position in that because of the way it is, it's sort of like 16 different games grafted onto each other. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the problems, is one of the reasons why they're trying to like unify all of the new inventory system into basically copy the system they are using for paid stuff and copy that and then make that for the system.
Because that was like the most reliable thing to like the web store, right? It was
the most reliable,
The web hanger has been the most reliable thing in Star Citizen, for the longest time.
So they're just copying that because the system they had used before was very ad hoc and wasn't built for what they had. And so that's like an example of like, I think their system, their LTP system is literally like a dozen different systems grafted onto each other. It's tracking
That
a
was
bunch
the
of different things.
microservice system.
Yeah.
And where I actually kind of watched a YouTube video recently on just how bad microservices can get. And apparently, while microservices are pretty cool, like if you have a microservice go down, like it doesn't drag the rest of the everything else down with it, which is nice. But the problem is, if you have bugs or issues or glitches with your microservices interacting with each other, it is a nightmare to debug.
Yeah.
Because all the access points all the services have with each other, it's hard to figure out where information is going wrong in between everything. And you basically have to have like expert knowledge of how all the systems work together. And if you're like just some new guy just gets thrown in there, and it's just like, how do these systems work? I don't know. I have to spend a year figuring out, reading the documentation. What do you mean there's no documentation?
But yeah, that's a good example of like that's the way it was built wasn't good, and they're trying to improve upon it now. But you know, who knows if it'll actually fucking.
Microservices is also one of those things where it was like a fad, kind of like how AI is right now, where everybody was like originally everything was just like this monolithic code block back in like the MySpace days, and then everyone's like, we can distribute this stuff into like many different little services
to make it faster. Yeah,
make it better, more reliable. If stuff fails, it doesn't drag everything down with it. But you can do that with a monolithic code block too, if you properly write your code. And then that went out of vogue, and then it came back in style as something else, and it just swings and roundabouts.
So Parker GPS asks, with the Siege of Orison going instanced, should there also be an overworld dynamic version later on?
I would love CIG to like run too. Like I would love to see the absolute nightmare that just an open world instance of like everybody can join for Siege of Orison, and I'd also like to have the option for private Siege of Orison servers as well.
So an open or closed instance, like you know,
like run an open instance of Siege of Orison where just everybody goes in and just let the community brutalize each other and just watch from a distance like some pervert.
They're like battle royale and arena versions.
I do think that what they should do is they should do an instance version, and I do think they should do miniature versions of it. Like they remember they had those missions that were like miniature offshoots.
Yeah,
like
where they use the Siege of Orison platforms to go. You go kill this Ninetales guy who's on this platform still on the other side of Crusader. Sure, why not? Those were fine.
So that way you can still have like access to some of these things. I talked about it earlier in my stream, but one of the things that I've come to the realization is that CIG lacks, because every mission in CIG in Star Citizen takes like 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no mission that is short. The short missions are like 30 minutes. That what CIG needs are missions that are like 15 minutes. You know, the length of a Call of Duty game. And part of that
little snack size content
to teach people to teach people how to play the game, or to just give them like a nice little like cushion.
I mean, I'm gonna disagree with you, Paul, because they actually have that stuff. Like the ASD facility missions, when they first introduced those, you had missions that you literally walked in
and left
to like the engineering wing, and you just pressed a button and left.
Yeah,
it was like 5 minutes in and out, like that Rick and Morty.
Yeah, but you'd have to
literally was 5 minutes in and out.
But you had to get into your ship. You had to fly to the ASD facility, land, get out, leave.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is like all of the landing zones where you can start have like the slums, or like the bad side of town, where you know the poor live, and you have missions like go to this place and shoot this guy. And it's just go on a tram to the poor side of town, find where the guy is, shoot him, and leave.
And they have that. They have those at Lorville, where they have trains that take you to the slums on the exterior walls.
Yeah, but
they don't have any missions out there.
No, and that's what I mean. If you gave some slum area for each area, where you had to gives people so they don't have to get in their ship, they can just hop on the tram, go to the location, do the thing they gotta do, and get out. You know, salvage, bounty hunting, mercenary work, and it's super simple, super quick. You don't get a lot of credits for it, but it's like I don't know what I am doing. this is the first time I have picked up a controller to play a PC game. I have no idea what I'm doing. Kind of experience.
They talked about that on the last Star Citizen Live, and they mentioned they wanted to get like really basic, your first courier mission is like take a burrito across town. It's DoorDash or Uber or something. You're literally just door dashing food to someone's front door, and that teaches you how to move through the game.
But I mean, beyond that, that's great for like delivery missions. But we still need stuff for like bounty hunting, mercenary work, salvage, repair. Like you can do a lot of stuff with that. The only thing you can't do is mining. With those situations. So, and I think that sort of thing would help with that. And I think like an idea of like having those sort of Siege of Orison style Ninetales missions that are just like a platform would kind of fit into that. It's like, oh yeah, it's a little more intermediate, but you don't even have to leave the planet to do a mission. So, or leave the landing zone to do a mission. All right, Escape asks, can we talk for a minute about how the Palatino set is just Bungie's Titan armor?
Yeah, sure. We could talk about how CIG likes to be inspired by other properties. That's basically it, right? Like CIG likes to be like.
Well, at least CIG like actively adjusts things to make it more of their own. Because like the amount of times people steal CIG's assets, they don't just steal them. They just rip. They don't just like modify them. They just rip them off.
I saw you posted on Blue Sky the other day about how like this anime had ripped off the Nova tank. It was just absolute same 3D model, just in an anime.
Yeah, it was. It's basically not even basically. It is. For those who don't know, it is the Nova, but it's the Nova in the Hollow Viewer, which is the old concept version of the Nova. So like it's like, oh well, they changed it. It's like they didn't change shit. They just ripped the Hollow Viewer model, slapped it into an animation program, and then used and then animated it. So they could be faster because it was a Chinese animation based off of a Chinese light novel. So it's clearly like the book described a tank and they just added a tank and someone just like, I'm going to grab this. So either it's like one of the animators is a fan of Star Citizen because, China's got a large population of Star Citizen fans. And they just grab the model and put it in, or just be like, no one knows what this is. No one will know what this is. This is just a niche little game. So
niche little game. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also that Mexican ad a few years back that had like the Polaris
Galaxy
in the ad.
The
Galaxy or something. It was just like straight ripped from Star Citizen in their ad.
Marvel,
like a soccer game.
Marvel has done a little bit more work. The funniest thing in one of the latest, it's like a Godzilla crossover with Marvel. They have Captain America flying an Avenger. It's the Avenger Titan. It is the Avenger Titan. They just added a few bits and bobs here to kind of make it like just different enough, but it's the same thing. It's the Avenger Titan.
I mean, I really couldn't care if CIG borrows stuff as long as it's slightly different. It's fine.
I think that's generally the rule. As long as it's, and I don't think it's like on 1-to-1, but it definitely has a very. Because I'm looking at the Palatino now to remind myself. It's very. How to put this one? It's very 2000s bridge between like old 3D and HD sort of look. It's like it looks almost pixelated. The armor set does because of its like sharp curves, like the helmet's got that like bucket feel look to it. If I'm seeing the right one, yeah. So it feels more like the same that the CIG was copying off the same homework that Bungie was with that one.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said, I don't give a shit. Some people like to make a big stink about it, but everybody's robbing from each other. And there's this old saying, "There's nothing new under the sun."
Yes.
If you dig far enough back, there was like someone who did it first.
There's a cave. You know what the oldest reference to that quote is?
What?
The Bible.
Probably.
The Old Testament is where that shows up. That's how old that quote of "There's nothing new under the sun." They were saying
if you there's probably a cave.
Ago.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
probably a cave painting with like something that looks kind of like a constellation on it.
Yeah, somewhere.
Somewhere in the world. Just yeah, I mean, we're gone to the point in society, just civilization, where it's very hard not to accidentally be inspired by. And there was a video of Red Letter Media where they were watching this really awful movie, and they were talking about this horror movie that like I can't remember what movie it was, but it was a quote from Jay from Red Letter Media where he was like, I must have unconscious. It was like he was talking about how he must have been unconsciously inspired by a scene from another movie he saw, and he used that same scene in a little home movie he did.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot where you consume media and you sleep on that for a few years, and then you go to do something creative, and you're like, "Oh, this seems like a really good idea. I like this," but you don't remember where you've seen it from,
Yeah.
right? But that idea leaks into what your work is, and that can happen. The media, everything is so pervasive, like social media, the Marvel movies, books, not even just books, like comics and whatnot. All that stuff is so pervasive across the entire world. It's very easy for someone in China, for example, to accidentally get inspired by a ship that was released 30 years ago, and then someone in a comic book, and someone in America reads the same comic book, and they have this exact same inspiration, and they both produce almost exactly the same spaceship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's
within a year of each other. It can happen.
Yeah. There's the famous one about the like the twin movies, where like you'd have Armageddon, and then you had Deep Impact.
Yeah, produced at the exact same
time. And it's like they were produced at the exact same time, and they didn't know that they were being produced at the exact same time. They just were making the same type of movie at the same time.
Yeah.
Because like the trends were up there. So
yeah, sometimes you have stuff that's trending, like, hey, we're getting on this trend, and you have it in video games all the time, where you have like you'll even have the instead of having two games released at one time, you'll have a developer who makes a game, right, and they get like wind of another larger publishing house that's making exactly the same game, and they have to change directions because they can't compete with that developer.
Yeah.
There's actually a real life Star Citizen example. Eric Peterson, the old Wingman's Hanger guy,
Wingman Hanger.
He went out and he got the license for Descent, a really old game from like the 90s that I was a big fan of. And another game made by the exact same people who made the original Descent, called Overload, came out before they released Descent. Their version of Descent was in early access, and the publisher ended up canning the project and fucking them over out of a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And that pissed them off a whole lot. But that happens where you have like just two teams making the exact same project, and they release at the exact same time, and it's just like, what the hell? Like, did you guys were you stealing each other? Like, no, we weren't talking to each other. We just had the same idea.
Yeah.
For the past 4 years.
Fun fact, if I remember correctly, Descent is where Free Space comes from.
Yep. The very first one, and I have a physical copy of Descent somewhere in my apartment, but the very first Descent actually had branding from... the very first Free Space was actually called Descent Free Space. The Great War.
Yeah.
But it had absolutely no connection story-wise to Descent.
They're just called
Descent games. Yeah. They wanted the branding on there to make it more recognizable.
All right, Steve the Dancer asks, question, do you feel rep in ship mining should give blueprints that work on ship mining instead of salvage, hand mining, rock mining, all giving random blueprints for any of them? Is that the way it works currently?
I wouldn't believe what's happening on the test server is like indicative of what the final is going to be.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't.
Let's flip this around. If you're doing a profession, Paul, if we're doing a profession, if we go out and we mine, do you want to have blueprints that affect your mining, or would you like to have blueprints drop that could be anything?
Anything,
right? If I'm doing missions for like Shubin Interstellar, a mining conglomerate, and I'm mining stuff for Shubin Interstellar, and I'm turning stuff in, I'm earning rep, and one of the rep rewards is a blueprint. Would you like to have that blueprint guaranteed to be something that improves your mining capabilities, or would you like to have maybe a legendary P4AR blueprint drop, or would you like to have a salvage head drop for your for a reclaimer?
I'd like the options though. Like, because some people
Yeah,
are going to
random
mine,
would be nice.
like having the option of going, I want the salvage, or the like, if I'm a miner, I'm doing this, I would be like, okay, cool. I get the mining blueprint, or I get the mystery blocks
So
blueprint.
what you
You know,
want is, Paul and Access, I'm going to put words into your mouth. What you
Go for
want
it.
is you complete your rep grind. You get a token for the Shubin Mining Interstellar Store, and the
Yes.
Shubin Mining Interstellar Store has a whole bunch of industrial equipment in it, and you can spend that token for a blueprint at that store.
Yes. What we just talked about last
Yeah, we
session,
just talk about the light. We're gonna bring this back around.
which should be right up there on top of Axis's head again. Don't click that, you know.
Access, go ahead. You got a thing you want to
Okay.
throw in there?
Throw it on here since you're going the loot box route. Say you
Yeah.
buy a certain amount with reputation from the store, okay. You get a random, limited time, rare, like could be anything loot box out of nowhere, right? Or blueprint.
Yeah.
You know, just could be anything. Could be mining, could be
But it's-
ship related.
But it's
Who knows?
guaranteed a much higher than the blueprint.
Yeah,
that
but if
got
you
there.
go like beyond, you get congratulations, winner drawing for a free random whatever.
As long as
I like.
Go ahead.
Go for it, Paul.
I was gonna say the like, as long as that random choice is like, you get a solid upgrade to your mining, or you can get like a tier above that, or like massive, like legendary tier random pool. Because then people will be like, some people are like, I'm gonna gamble. I'm only here to hang out with my friend and do some mining. I don't really want to do this further, so let's go for the random, you know?
I don't hate the idea of like having random chance. Like, I don't hate that idea, but I think we should get like tokens. I like the tokens you can spend, physicalized tokens that you can spend or give away. Like, I completed the grind. I got a token. This token is good at the Shubin Mining Interstellar Store for whatever the hell is in that store. And here, you can have it, buddy.
Yeah.
It's just yours. Or I'll sell it to you for 10 million credits because I'm out of money and I need to be able to refuel my Idris. So
yeah,
I think that's
having the options is nice rather than just being forced to. Though I do think that
yeah.
Good.
You're locked in. You complete the grind and you're given a blueprint for whatever. You're given a random blueprint, or you're given a blueprint for like the profession you're in. Yeah. I mean, I understand wanting to like make your profession better, but having the options of having a blueprint you're not going to use gives you like the ability to trade with the players at large. You get a legendary P4AR, and like, I'm not going to use this because I'm a miner, but I know people who love combat, and I could sell this blueprint for quite a lot of credits, or I could trade it for another blueprint that I could use. Yeah. Right.
If
that encourages MMO, right?
Yeah. Just have that option, and because like, you're going to be able to randomly loot blueprints as well. So, like, yeah. We have a token that can be redeemed for services or upgrades. It's UEC. It is UEC. The difference is that it's behind a rep wall. So
the problem with UEC is that CIG is gonna have a problem removing UEC from the game. Every MMO that has a player economy has problems with inflation, and World of Warcraft has had like problems with like gold inflation because you have trouble removing the gold from the game. EVE Online has problems getting like their version. I can't remember what EVE Online uses for credits.
ISK.
ISK. Yeah, they have problems with removing ISK from the games, and eventually just have people with billions and billions of ISK, or peoples with millions and millions of gold. And Star Citizen kind of has that problem right now, where you have peoples with like billions of credits, and having another currency that you can control or is in very limited supply helps reduce the effect of inflation from your main currency, which is United Earth credits. And you can buy United Earth credits off the web store, but you can't buy Wicklow favors. Yeah. You can't buy Apex Valacar teeth. You can't buy irradiated Copian horns. And all these are currencies. Yeah. For crafting.
All it is all a currency is exchanging a means of exchange for goods and services. So
yeah, like, everybody agrees the currency is like valuable, and you're using it for exchanging. Yeah.
Like for a while there was especially on UEX, there was like people were starting to use some mineral. I think was it Laranite? I think
Carinite, or Janelite or something.
It was something they were using as like, you can do UEC or this,
Yeah, carry
So
knight.
pure
And we
carry
had
knight,
that with Diablo 2 had that. Eventually, gold got so common. Once you get up to a certain difficulty, gold gets so common and easy to come by, and nobody cares how
Yeah.
much gold you have in your inventory. And you start trading with like the high end runes
Mhm.
or the really good rings. Like the Stone of Jordan was. I know that for a fact. The Stone of Jordan was like highly desirable because it was good for. It was a good baseline for most trades. Like I'll give you 2 Stone of Jordans, 2 SOJs for this armor piece.
Yeah.
And the SOJ was like a fixed value, that ring, and it fitted into your inventory really nice. It was like just one slot out of like 30 you could have, and
This is the economics teacher in me. That always happens. You give human beings reasons to trade, they will invent an economy, whether you like it or not. And if you don't give them a way to trade, they will come up with some sort of standardized system for currency.
And this
Just
happens in real life too, where you
Yeah.
have multiple currencies being used in systems that you wouldn't expect. There's a reason why they use the American dollar in a lot of African countries, because the Zimbabwe dollar is fucking worthless. So
Yeah.
same with like Venezuela, they use the USD, the US dollar for most. It's considered black market if you pay for like in American dollars, but because the Venezuelan dollar is so fucking worthless that nobody's going to take it. It's basically toilet paper.
And you can buy from other countries easier with the American dollar because it's accepted as a trade currency.
Yeah,
More.
accepted
Yeah.
elsewhere. So I mean, there's real life precedents for using multiple currencies in your video game.
So what basically Vertigo and I guess all of us are saying is, instead of like CIG can basically get ahead of players ending up using pure Karenite as currency by creating their own currency that has value for gameplay. So versus just like this one thing. So make
And
relics a currency.
there's tons of also gotcha games that use like 7 or 8 different currencies.
Mhm.
Same with like same with like real time strategy games like Stellaris. I'm listening to the soundtrack right now in the background. I'm like, oh, that's right. Stellaris has like 10 different currencies for like
Mhm.
stuff.
All right, let me go to the next question, which is from Steve the Dancer, who asks, "Do we feel?" Oh no, I don't want to do it. The other next one is also from Steve the Dancer,
Okay.
and I'll ask you this one first, Axis.
Okay.
How do you feel refueling and tow missions this year possible? How do you feel about that?
Fuel. What is it
Refueling,
about?
refueling.
Oh,
How do you
the
feel
refuel.
about refueling and tow missions coming this year? Do you think it's going to be a thing? Because they said that it possibly this year.
Towing, I think, could be done and needs to be done. Oh my god. Like all the derelict ships. I have so many angry rage fists, especially during Race for Stanton. All the
Mhm.
abandoned ships at the
Rafts,
pad.
all the abandoned rafts everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. I just wanted to throw my computer through the window. Not do that because now it's worth $3,000 plus, but um towing missions, yeah. I could see them trying to work on permissions. Also, salvaging, pull them out of a zone, salvage, that would work great. The SRV is basically what we call an accessory ship, anyways. It works with other ships to move things, like in a salvage team. It pulls larger ships to the big salvager, right? And acts as a tugboat. You get what I'm saying? Tugs things say to the reclaimer, because the reclaimer, I think in lore, really doesn't have a lot of maneuvering fuel. Am I wrong, Paul?
I think in the lore or in practice.
In the lore, it's a big barge. It's basically a barge,
Yeah.
pretty much.
It's space salvage. You rarely give them to the planets because it's just harder to maneuver on planets.
Yeah, I mean, if it was on the ground, you would be dragging things with the SRV in range of the reclaimer, and the reclaimer would just park near it, munch it, leave. Or whatever, or maybe the moth now would do it. The moth would probably be more efficient on the ground when they fix that. But let me see. refueling. They mentioned that there might be a new refueling ship.
They did say it's
During
going to be
that-
a while out, but they did
Yeah,
say that
they
they
say
want
it's
to
a
do.
while out.
They did say they're going to do refueling, like missions soon.
A lot of
So-
people have been rumoring it may be a version of the Vulcan.
Hmm.
And I'm like, why would they?
Why the Vulcan? I would say it's
Why
more
the
like
Vulcan?
the Golem. The Vulcan
Yeah,
isn't even
like
out
the
yet.
Vulcan makes no sense unless they're going brand specific.
Mm.
I could see an Aegis version, and I could see, Drake doing it, because that's a big rivalry for stuff like
Sure.
that, and that would actually be a pretty good rivalry.
Especially the Misk and Drake. They hate each other.
Oh my God, they despise each other.
Vertigo.
Yes.
Your thoughts on refueling missions or towing missions this year? Do you think it's going to actually be a thing?
I mean, I'd like to think so. I mean, it's just more stuff for a Star Citizen. I mean, I could imagine a version of the Golem chassis being for refueling. You can replace that mining head that pops out from the Golem and replace it with a refueling boom, and then like have a fuel tank. So I could totally see that. As for like towing missions, I mean, technically we had them. All you had those old ass salvaging missions that CSG put in the first time. You go out there with an SRV, you grab the ship, you move it out of the zone, and it's just the mission completed. So I could see like CIG having you go out, tractor a ship, and then take it someplace like a scrapyard, and then you just once the ship leaves the area, it's take it to another area, quantum over to that area, move it into the area, and then mission complete, get paid, and then you go keep doing that. It's just more stuff to do in Star Citizen. Why not? As I said, Star Citizen PhD piled high and deeper.
Well, one of the things that I do like about those missions is that one of the options is going to be, instead of a mission, it's more of a request. We can request an NPC show up and refuel you. So sort of like a
rescue beacon.
A rescue beacon. So
yeah,
that's nice that they're going to do that.
Yeah, it is. It's a good idea to have. But the last time I ran out of fuel, I can't remember the last time I ran out of fuel in Star Citizen, but it was a couple years ago. And then we found out the Starfarer just doesn't work, and we never bothered trying ever again. And you remember the intro movie to Halo Infinite, where the Infinity ran over that Covenant ship? That's probably what the NPCs are going to do to you when you call them for refueling. They're just going to run your ass over and get a free respawn when they come out of Quantum.
It's funny.
I think that there's a chance for them to come in. I don't think that Thorsten or Elliot was necessarily lying when they were like, "Yeah, can we? We're going to do that this year." I think they really are going to do it, like for sure. So, we'll continue on. Next question is from I'm not going to answer that question. Steve says, "What types do you think 2026 will bring?" I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, it was a typo. What type of ships do you think will come in 2026? I had this observation. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this one. Both y'all's thoughts on this one. What was the first ship that was released last year? Y'all remember?
Not really.
It was the Misk Fortune.
It's a salvage ship.
Yeah, the Fortune. Now I remember.
And what was one of the first ships that was released this year?
Salvation.
Salvation. Yeah, which was a
not Salvation.
salvage ship.
But it's the Moth, which is the salvage ship, right?
Yeah.
So
the Moth.
I've noticed like there's a pattern CIG's doing where they do industry at the very beginning and I think at the very end of the year, and then in between they do combat ships. It may just be
I think
my
for
brain
Invictus
seeing
we'll have,
patterns, but
for Invictus will probably have a whole bunch of combat ships
ready
to roll because we're having fewer patches this year, but they still need to release about 24 ships a year, so it's about 4 ships a patch.
I think they're doing 27 ships. So
okay,
and they're at least Alien Week
5.5 ships, 5.2 ships per patch.
Well, and
I don't
think
know how you release a fraction of a ship, but maybe a Drake ship
Well, one of those ships is got, at least that we even know in from the monthly reports, is a variant. They already have a pre-built variant for it. So
We
it's
know
coming
the
with, like,
whole B
standard
is
variant.
almost done.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know the Raylan has already completed its
White box.
gray box
Mhm.
review. So that will probably make Alien Week.
I still don't think it's making
Awesome.
Alien Week. I don't think it was white box. I think it was white box review, not gray box review. Because
Let me double check.
yeah, because I just released the monthly report, and someone said I'm gonna laugh when Paul's wrong on the Raylan at coming Alien Week, and I'm like, we've never gotten anything Alien Week, guys. Let me check it again. Monthly report.
I'm probably wrong. I could be. I mean, been
Uh,
there, done that.
2 weeks ago.
Or it's
Yeah, so
approaching it.
Art ships. Hammerhead. Raylan is through a white box phase to its gate review. So it's through its white box review gate. So it's into gray box right now, as of January.
Mhm.
So for anyone who doesn't know the stages, it goes concept, white box, gray box, Lot 0, final art,
Mhm.
and then release. And ships typically take some time to go through concept and white box, and when they go through, and then also gray box. Lot 0 and release and final art tends to be pretty fast, depending on the ship or what it is, especially if they have the materials ready to go. But white box means that it's in gray box now. It means it should still take a couple of months in gray box, then about a month or two in Laud, a month or two in this is just averages. It could be sped up and released, but I don't see it coming Invictus or Alien Week. I'd love to see it in Alien
June,
Week.
right?
Yeah, it's right after Invictus, so it would be mid-June.
It's still 4 months. I mean, they could make it, but
That's really fast. That's really fast for a ship.
and it's
4
a
months
big
from white
ship.
box to release. You know, I will say if it comes out in June, white box to release in 4 months. My thought is it's going to be buggy as fuck. It would be the most bugged up
God.
ship we have.
At least we know that the whole B's in Lodi or Lodo.
Lot 0. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a step up between the A and the B at least, which is fine. Again, more ships to come. I am always pleased. I will say this. I don't keep saying this. I will scream this to the mountainside. I'm always pleased when CIG gets something off the goddamn backlog that's been there for way too long.
The B,
Preach
yes.
it. Preach
Yeah.
it. The B.
I mean, Vertigo. What do you think of the what was the ship that came out recently that was like had been in like white box for a while?
The Apollo.
Yeah.
The Apollo.
Apollo.
Vertigo, what do you think about the Apollo? It's not a ship I want to own, or it's not a ship I'm going to use. I don't appreciate it how it works. I don't appreciate how I like kind of how it looks. But one thing I am extremely happy is that CIG finally got it finished. It's in the game. Same with the Idris. The Idris has some horrendous balance problems, as the Daymar Rally found out recently, with their last game, their last race.
Mm-hmm.
There's some hideous balance problems with the Idris in Star Citizen and how the rest of the game works around it. But people paid money for that damn thing, and it should be in their hands. They should be able to play with it. And CIG was dragging their feet for years on getting this thing in game. And now that it's finally in game, good. It's off the backlog. It's in. People can enjoy what they spent money on.
Mm-hmm.
Or not enjoy what they spent money on and regret it immensely, but
at least
that's
they
up to
have
them.
what they paid for, you know?
Yeah, they got what they paid for.
Sad Pete right now. Chrysler Ranger.
Yes, no, I'm with that. The one I'm more pissed off about is the G12. I think the G12 is finally going to come out this year, but I think it's going to be one of those, fuck it, here you go, ships. Like, because it's like a vehicle that nobody really wanted. I don't think did well, but it was like, okay. The one thing I do think, and I will die on this hill, is that I think this is the year that the military Titan suit comes out. The military version of the ATLS.
Not the actual official, not the Wicklow.
Not
backyard,
the Wicklow. Yeah, not
redneck duct tape, bubblegum guns
not the
mining.
not the technical, the Wicklow technical, the actual design for combat Titan suit. The one made by Virgil. The most confusing
Rock
part
'em,
about it.
stop 'em, kill 'em all.
Yeah, the most confusing part about it is that it's made by Virgil, and it's called the Zeus system
Mm-hmm.
to make it even more complete. So you can wear your Zeus and get into a Zeus while inside your Zeus. CIG in their naming schemes. I swear to God. So I still think that's going to happen, because if Squadron Ready 2 is set to release this year, which I still think it is, CIG is ripping the fucking studs out of everything in Squadron that they can throw into Star Citizen. They already have the Wicklow suit, and so they already have the ICD, and they already have the ATLS. We know that thing is in Squadron. CIG will sell it because it's a small asset. Probably doesn't take a huge amount of work to
Vertigo had
import
to
it.
hurt my heart just now.
What's that?
The latest question.
Mm.
We'll get to it.
Well,
Well,
I
CIG
saw someone. I saw
something
someone
about-
ask this in chat, but I don't think they used the proper
Question?
adequate. Yeah, they didn't use the question exclamation point. So I figured I'd put it in the queue so we can get to it one of these days, because
Yeah.
it is a valid question,
We
right?
can go on that right now. I mean, because
Sure.
it is sort of connected to what we're talking about. It's like,
They
what ships do we
did
think are coming
mention
out?
it. They didn't mention it by name in
Mhm.
SEL,
Mention
but they
it by
did say
Mhm.
Yeah.
part 2 of crafting and base building will require ships refining.
Yeah, ship
So-
refining, player refining. So yeah, Expanse. The question is will CIG add the Expanse refining ship this year? And I think they will. They've made enough
Mhm.
references to it
Mhm.
that it's going to be in there.
We know the Galaxy's coming later this year, and the Galaxy I think has a refining module too, right?
It was sold with a refining module, a medical module,
Yeah.
and a cargo module. The two
So
of them are
the
there.
Galaxy-
the third of them has to have.
Yeah, the Galaxy and the Expanse could be this year, because we know for a fact from rumors and leaks and like stuff coming out of Evocati that CIG is reworking the refining process. And we know crafting, CIG's been talking like crafting's coming soon, like this year, not like next year. So CIG's setting stuff up for crafting. The refining loop is getting changed. So there's definitely the groundwork happening for player-based refining, right?
Yeah,
Which could be like some sort of refining device that you put in your hangar or in a ship. Could be a refining ship like the Expanse or the Galaxy.
I mean, base building is clearly on their mind. If not this
Mhm.
year, then soon. And we know that refinery is going to be a thing you can build. So,
Yeah.
Someone said they should rename the suit the Zeus suit to Mars or something. Fun fact: they can't because it's a squadron asset. So I'm guessing they have actors saying "get in the Zeus." So it's already like they already named it. It was probably there before the Zeus
Yeah.
Mark II was even an idea.
So it's not even that. It gets even worse because you have textures that probably say Zeus Mark blah 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 blah
Yeah.
and serial numbers. There's probably textures that have that on there, and you have actors that refer to it by like name. Maybe you have like a throwaway line, but it gets even worse when you realize subtitling and translation into other languages.
Yeah.
It gets really bad. So you have to change a lot of stuff. When you change the name of something, you have to change a lot of stuff. In your game.
John Crew did say that this year's going to be expansive, and it was like sort of everyone's like he wasn't being cheeky. It's like John Crew is cheeky. That is his fucking middle name. He's a troll. And he lives by that rule. That's why you have to, every time a chance you get to, if John tells you not to do something, like, I don't know, pay artists to make, to turn Star Citizen ships into waifus, you do it. Because John said no, and he'd be sad. So you do it to make him sad. Because it's the only way you can get back at it. It's the only way he respects you. I'm not saying this out of experience or anything. Totally not. For those of you who don't know, this is a long running joke that I've done actually for that. All right. How can you tell he's sad though? You can see it in his soul. You're gonna see it's like you can see the subtle changes, like when you mentioned the Endeavor to him, or the fact that he hates Drake. You see his mind
Yeah.
crack a little bit.
That's
Um, all right, CM asked a bunch of really trolly questions, which I think are kind of funny. So I'll ask them both. Who asks, tractor beams are so unreal, or sorry, he said tractor beams, not beams. Tractor beams are so unrealistic. Why are they in this game? They literally break the law, they're all known laws of physics and should be removed. That's not a question, that's just statement. And the other one was, why do we use drones in the base building? That's unrealistic. We should have a hammer and nails like we would in real life. I don't know if he's doing.
I think he's trolling us.
No, he's definitely trolling, but I'm just trying to figure out why he's trolling us.
No, we need more beams for building. We need building beams.
Not beams.
We need
building
this
beams.
Slurpee
We need to
beam.
build with beans, like
Yep.
palmetto or black eyed, or navy beans, bean building. No, I for one am a disciple of beam citizen. I think beams are awesome, and we should use them for everything. I feel like when they do the inevitable fishing mechanic, which apparently Chris Roberts confirmed is post 1.0, it should be a beam. It should be a fishing beam.
Fishing beam.
Yes. All beams. Beams for everyone.
Yeah.
All right. So the next real question is from Caliban Rex, who asks, base building is fine, but what about earning up for a better hab and building that out? Like building a better apartment, like getting a better apartment. They've talked about that. The idea of being able to buy permanent apartments in places. Yeah.
I'm good with that.
I mean, it's just a matter of instancing those things so you can go to your apartment like you can.
They're working on it because I think this instancing is going to translate into more than just locations based for combat. They have to be
gameplay. It's got to be more.
Building interiors are all over the place. I mean, the cities are basically dead ghost shells. They're all going to be instanced, filled with things like lobbies, offices, maybe vaults. If it's a bank, there are banks in lore. You can break in, steal shit.
There's all of this stuff has been mentioned in the procedural shipment or building interiors that they wanted to do, but I think that's been on hold because that team's been working on Genesis and the Starkitect stuff. Vertigo, what do you think?
I mean, I would like to have more options for player housing and whatnot, just renting an apartment somewhere, in a landing zone like Nyx or Area 18 that's not near the spaceport, where you can just have a private landing pad to land a ship and you go there and leave, take off. I mean, and in reality, the answer to this question is player bases, players constructed bases. Right.
They need to have
build a
several
base.
options.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think everyone wants to build a base. Some people just want a cool place where they can hang out and display their goods. So, but I think the initial answer is no, you're going to have to build a base, and then eventually they'll get to that. But that'll be probably this is me being pessimistic, but I say probably a post 1.0 update, depending on how long it takes them to get Starkitect done. So, all right. Next question comes from Stakeroo, who asks, question, how do you think CIG should balance the rewards in these quote unquote activities, Hathor, ASD, etc., so that it's more rewarding for a big group? I'm going to sound like a broken record, but tokens or script, some other thing you can get in those locations. If you're doing those more sandbox style events, I think having a liberal amount of those things strewn about might help.
I mean, pure Karenite is some of the best stuff you can trade for on UEX right now.
Yeah,
because the drop rate is so abysmal for pure Karenite, and it's actually used in quite a few Wicklow recipes that are fairly desirable. That you could probably use. Go for it, Paul.
I was gonna say the other thing is blueprints. Just because like
Yeah.
if you're in a group of like your lore or like your lore, it's my group, the organization. But like if you're
Mhm.
in a like an org and you go in a group and you find a blueprint that would help your org out, then that's like valuable for the whole group rather than just you.
Mhm.
So
I want to see some sort of trade exchange tokens terminal, like in
okay.
cities. Yeah, okay. It sounds a little cheesy and stuff. You have to earn certain stuff for certain tokens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like levels of a token.
Yeah. So like
Maybe,
you could go exchange like go to a kiosk and exchange your script for, cash or whatever. Like an exchange or something or just something else.
yeah. Like, say you have, name me something that's pretty rare besides Care Knight. Um, Galahart
Jackalum?
Tooth?
No. What's that? Janelite. That
General
seems pretty
Gemini, here
rare.
we go. It might
Yeah.
be worth a different set of number of rare tokens.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you could like you can get some of those things and you could turn them in for tokens rather than having to find the tokens or earn them.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but
like like a reverse idea where you can buy the tokens or get the tokens and then use those tokens for those other things if you need to later.
they would be at the major landing zones, not the
Yeah.
stations, because it'd be more like a bank thing. You're turning it in for,
Like you're actually going into exchange like an actual like currency exchange, only it's like you want to get this many tokens for this thing, this much script for this thing or something. So yeah.
right. And at some point, it would be nice. I see your comment, Dell. It would be nice if when we're able to have our own trade terminals for orcs, there'd be two versions. The background simulation version, which is the BGS, right?
Mhm.
And then we have the player generated system, which will come later with ships, probably like the Merchantman,
Or like
the
ground
Kraken,
locations. Yeah.
and
Privateer.
stuff like that. And any other smaller ones, that come out. Like maybe the Merchantman's little brother, the Trip Taker, which I still think's going to happen, Paul.
Okay. So what you're trying to say is like you can have these in landing zones, but then you can also have them with players.
Mhm.
Players can effectively build the same sort of kiosks or have the same kiosks on their own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've thought about posting it for a while. I really should because, like I said, it wouldn't permanently be background simulation. I mean, we have these terminals all over the landing zones, but these would be centrally located like the UEE bank. So maybe it's only in UE space. Other species might have a similar trade system,
Like the
but
Banu.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
like the
not trading with the
Banu.
Vandul, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Chris Roberts. You may be able to trade with the Vandul clans if you butter them up enough. Because
Yeah.
Chris
They
Roberts does like that
may
idea.
they may have like disgraced members who test you for your honor
Yeah.
and have another way of earning currency with them. So
That's we're basically just talking about script is the thing. It's like we already have this in game where they have the what is it, the council script versus the mercenary guild script. I'm sure there'll be script for the transit guilds and all of that sort of thing. So just script is just another currency.
yeah.
All right, next
Sorry to get
question.
so off track, but that
No,
was a good idea.
I get the idea. Maverick asks, should CIG continue to add more missions to the current dates mission system or dated mission system, or pause for additions into the game until mission 2.0 system is added to the build? Mission 2.0 is already in the game. It's just
It
not
is?
it's just not fully done. As far as I understand, the mission 2.0 is in the build, but because like it's not a system that's like, oh, we put it in and one slot and it's done, and now we have to update everything. They've been updating the mission system to the mission to system version 2 over the last like year. They started working on it the end of or the very beginning of last year, and so they've talked about updates here and there, and they've been attaching new parts to it as they went through. That's the reason why we lost all of those missions in between 4.0 and 3.3.2.4 or whatever. It's because they just didn't work with 4.0.
Yeah.
So they've been updating the mission system. For
The server meshing and whatnot really broke a lot of that stuff.
So and when they tried to do fight for Pyro and everything broke, they were like, we need to update the mission system. So they've been updating the mission system to fix everything. So now what's Elliot's excuse going to be for his missions not working? It's still the back end's the problem. It's not fully done yet. But if you do the monthly reports, you can see some of that stuff. So
yeah.
All right. But Fastcar asks, did anyone watch the Enter the Atmosphere yesterday? I watched the section with Chris Roberts just before the stream.
Enter the Atmosphere?
Yeah, so there was a section, Chris and Sandy and Xylo were there. And so it was like they had a racing event and a PvP event. It was just a big Atmo esports event.
Okay.
And is in Australia. And so part of it, like after it's like 6 hours in, they did a Q&A session where Crucian interviewed all of them and asked some questions. And there were some revelations from that. One of which is that Squadron 42 is going to release with full body VR.
Okay.
Cool. So like headset and like the hand, manipulatives and everything else like that. So
my head hurts.
Good for them.
Well, and I mean, it makes sense. Like pretty much it's a Chris Roberts game. And as you know, Vertigo, as an experienced Chris Roberts game player, Chris is absolutely obsessed with like animations and like if you want to flick that switch, you flick the switch. So they already have all those animations and already built in sort of like reactions. So it's probably a lot easier in Squadron for them to just connect that rather than than Star Citizen where a lot of stuff isn't there. So another year delay. No, I don't think so. Because like I said, like the reason why it was so easy for them to integrate the experimental VR into Star Citizen was because a lot of the stuff was already there. Diegetic UI, inverse kinematics, all those things were already present. So
your camera's actually in your face, roughly where your eyes are. So like all the head tracking stuff is already done. Plus they did some stabilization work too.
Yeah, there's some things they had to do. It's mostly back end stuff to make sure it would work with like the online stuff. But
somebody also said they apparently mentioned crafting will be in 4.7. I'm like, okay, yes. That's funny.
Crafting and inventory are going to be coming in as well, as according to Chris Roberts. So,
you okay?
Yeah, I just sneezed. That's all. Yeah. So, and the code was already in the engine too. Yeah, it's like everything it's ready to go. It's just a matter of
clicking
how quickly does it? Because remember, Sylvan did the VR, the stuff that we did, the experimental VR. That was done as a side project. He did it on his own without CIG paying him to do it. He just like, I want to get this done. So, and he did it within like a year. So Sylvan because I'm guessing Chris gave him a budget and said, do it now. You're officially doing it for Squadron. It'll probably take him less time now. Especially since, as again, if you look at Squadron, Chris just like, I want your character to like, if that's the switch your character moves, I want your character to physically move the switch. I don't care if it's a unique animation. You're gonna make that fucking animation because it's Chris Roberts. As HC and Vertigo and I, famously joked to like when pooping comes into the game, Chris Roberts will mocap somebody taking a shit. There will be somebody who has spent hours in a mocap suit pretending to take a shit. And then there's been some
noises and whatnot, poop noises.
And there's going to be some poor animator who is going to have to animate the differences between normal shit and diarrhea. Like Chris Roberts is obsessed with this kind of thing. So yeah. So like if he's doing this shit with Squadron, then yeah, it shouldn't be that difficult. But the other thing he said was they're shooting for 4.7 to have crafting and the new UI. Have you seen the new UI, either of you?
No. I've seen concepts of it. I think I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't played the
tech preview.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. I can't play Star Citizen as well. It's so like playing Star Citizen is frustrating with the old UI now. the old inventory UI. It's so much better.
How would you describe the new inventory? Is it any good?
It's the current system, but it's not as clunky.
Oh, thank God.
So you can like modify your gun in terms of all the attachments in your actual HUD. So when you go to inventory, you can just drag and drop like attachments onto your gun without ever getting out of your inventory. You can equip your guns without ever getting out of your inventory. It gives you a slot for your chest, your legs, your arms, your head. All of those are slots you can just drag and drop into them. You can actually loot by proximity looting. So if you have like 4 boxes around you, you can just hit your inventory and you can click different tabs to find all the different inventories around you. So you don't have to like go to individual, boxes and open them up and figure out what you put in there.
I've heard they're having some rumor of problem with that. They might want to make it more close range, like within a few meters, because some people are saying they can loot like other people's inventories, like in other hangars.
But I mean, it's like it makes it easier, effectively. So, it's really good. It's really good. And it feels very snappy. It's in tech preview, so it could just be the fact that there's not a lot of them.
It's probably like on a private server that's not exposed to live, and that's why it feels so good. But
yeah,
when it gets finally into the pleb's hand, it's gonna be
right.
ass.
Yeah. But because it's the same system, it's an evolution, not a revolution. So
evolution of evolution.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more questions left. Rushboard UK asks, we are obviously going to have base building later, but what are your thoughts on renting player customized rental? Oh, we literally just talked about that.
Yeah.
So
sure, it's fine. I'm okay with it. Like players renting apartments and shit, customizing them.
GTA 5 does it. So Epsilon 115 asks, do you think the Javelin will shadow drop at Invictus this year or push it out until Invictus 2027? Axis, what do you think?
That's a really difficult one, because if Squadron is releasing this year, that would be a hell of an advertiser, especially with that event, coming later in the year versus a cruiser, a Vandal cruiser with flanking ships.
Yeah.
There's no way our puny little Idrises and Polaris will even dent that thing. I mean, you might be able to throw out the Javelin. It would be hilarious if the Javelin, we just get a ginormous, like an Idris commercial out of nowhere, and here comes this thing out of the dark, just hunting its opponent,
Rush saying, I don't think CIG needs to keep making money. I think CIG needs to keep money, so no shadow drops. The Idris shadow dropped.
It made money.
And it made money. Yeah.
CIG knows what we want. Like, we want big, expensive capital ships in our hangars.
It would be
so.
Berg, what do you think?
Shadow dropping the Javelin this year. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I would imagine the Javelin is coming along for Squadron 42, but it depends on how far along it is, because I don't have that. I don't have a crystal ball that can see that level of detail. And that's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's 50-50, maybe less than 50-50. I'm not confident that it will drop.
I'm gonna be bold and say no, because one of the things I know about Squadron is that Squadron 42 did not model the entirety of the Javelin. They only modeled the parts that they had to use for the game.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
So there are entire sections of the Javelin that do not exist. So they have to go in and build those out. Plus, they have to make it available for
modularity.
They have to make it available for players, and like in terms of like engineering, which isn't ready for. So I imagine no, we aren't going to get it this year. We might see it in 2027 when they have more time. But right now, no.
There's a chance we might get a ISC update on it at some point.
We'll almost certainly see it in Invictus again this year.
Yeah,
but it's like saying, will they let us craft the Bengal? It's like probably not, because the Bengal is probably not fully crafted modeled either. It's just like the hangar. you know,
Mhm.
and the bridge.
As
Uh,
much as I'd like to see it, probably won't happen, like you said.
yeah. Pisspar Pete asks, question, will CIG make refining similar to the real world where quality is dependent on time and process? And if not pure enough, you can bring it back and again for your pure but decreased yield. I have no idea. I
They
like the
talked about it on the
idea.
Star Citizen Live a
Yeah,
little while ago, and they said maybe you could like keep purifying stuff, and just get less and less as you go through the refining process.
to
Just
get a higher
get stuff
quality.
kicked out, yeah,
Yeah.
and then you can put it back in, and it comes back out a little better. Put it back in, comes out a little better. I don't know if they're going to stick with that. Everything's always up in the air with CIG, what they'll allow and what they won't allow.
I mean, it makes sense. It works for gameplay loop because it's like
Hmm.
you can basically get the same thing out in a better, but it takes time, effort, and you lose quality or quantity as you increase the quality. So that's risk versus reward right there. A thousand low grade to 10 high grade, yeah, possibly, but like 10 high grade
Possibly,
may only let you build like one high grade P4.
yeah.
So like, yeah, you can do that, or you can go find 10 high grade or 1,000 high grade, and then just refine that. It'll take less time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah. All right. Last question comes from Epsilon115, who asks, when we get base building and player shops, should CIG put a minimum and maximum price on items in the game to prevent ridiculous markup situations like we are seeing now? Axis, what do you think? Do you think they should put price ceilings on player sold items? Artificial price
That's your
ceilings.
hold on. Price stuff on player
So
owned stuff?
basically,
Socialized rent control in our capitalistic game.
yeah, what they're asking is, should they, if you are, say, you have like a P4, right? You make a P4, it's a tier 4 P4.
Oh yeah, like
There's
a set markup.
you can only mark it up to a certain price, and you can't mark it above that.
Yeah, I think
Should
they
they do
should
that?
because like a certain percentage above X amount.
I say no, but that's just me because I know one of the things that this is just the economist in me, which is like price ceilings and price floors don't do shit. They don't
Mhm.
actually help the economy, and they don't actually help prices at all. They're a band-aid solution to a long-term problem of inflation. And
Yeah,
if you want to deal with inflation, you have to deflate. And to deflate, you need to remove currency from circulation.
yeah.
So it's probably, in my opinion, better to just have CIG do a bunch of money sinks and other things to
Hmm.
deflate the shit out of UEC, than it is to have force players to have rent control. As you said, rent
The
control
okay,
in my capitalism space simulator. You
so
know.
here's the problem with like player caps for stuff. I can give you an item, right?
Yeah.
I could in Star Citizen just right now, unless CIG changes how this works. I can just give you an item. I can go to UEX, mark up that item for however much I want, and then you pay me that much, and then I give you the item without having to interact with CIG's player trading system.
Yeah.
So there's CIG can put a maximum limit on what you can mark up an item on your store in the game, but if you don't interact with CIG's system, you can just put whatever price you want, right? Unless CIG makes it so in order for that item to transfer properly between players, you have to buy it from a player in their store. Then that would cause it to stick,
It's a
which
lot of
again
work, though.
causes it. Yeah, you have to prevent players from like, you drop an item and then it just gets destroyed when you drop it to prevent another player from picking it up. Like that kind of goes against what Star Citizen is all about, the kind of the core full persistence, right?
Yeah.
If I drop a cup somewhere, it's supposed to be there when I get back a couple years later.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you enforce price limits that actually have any teeth? How do you make this rule have any teeth if players can just like trade outside the game?
I had
You know,
forgotten about. I hadn't even thought about the if there's a market, players people will find a way. It's the black markets exist. It's another principle of
yeah,
economics.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I I don't think it works. I understand the sentiment, but it doesn't work as a long-term solution to an economy balance issue. Because, like, again, this is where me teaching economics helps a little bit to kind of explain, like, you have to use economics, because economics is not just a crazy idea invented by rich people to get richer. It is a law, like these are like laws of science in terms of how things work. We know how they work, and you can look to them to help curb issues in video games, especially when you have video game economies, when you have resources turning into finished goods and being sold on markets. We have experience. We have hundreds of years of experience and research into this. You can easily mark it up. That's what Tony Z was originally there to do. People forget that Tony Z's like economy system wasn't designed as a like, because Tony Z likes NPCs. It was designed as a way of trying to simulate an economy that wouldn't require CIG to hand tune all of the little knobs to keep things going.
All the bits and bobs and the dials and levers. And that's another thing too. Like, how do you stop players from using like the barter system to get around your payment? Because pure Karenite could be like a single brick of pure Karenite could be valued by the community at 200 million credits because it's so rare and so valuable for like crafting Idrises and Polarises and F8Cs and F7C Mark IIs from Wicklow. People really, really, really desire this stuff. So you can walk up to a player trader and be like, here, this piece of pure Karenite for your high-end P4AR blueprints. Like, sure, CIG capped the price on that blueprint, but how are they going to cap the price on this barter trade, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and how do we expect the game economy system now that Tony Z era has passed? Tony Z's ideas didn't. Tony Z isn't dead, guys.
Is he still working for CIG? I think he is, right?
He's emeritus, meaning he shows up every so often when CIG asks them to show up.
God, people think he died. That's sad.
No, they don't think he died. He's acting like he's dead. It's like the systems he created are still there, but like just like we don't call the what is it, the system now, the push-pull system, we don't call it grabby hands anymore because it's not grabby hands. That's why that joke with the moth expose where Jared was like, do you remember when we actually had a system called grabby hands? And all of them were like, we had a system called grabby hands? It's like, yeah. It's so like the economy model that he's using is still there and it's still going to work, but because the player economy is going to exist and it's going to be superior, it's not going to have to be as robust to maintain like inflation as much. It's more there as a distribution for missions dynamically and a way for people to buy and sell goods, buy low, sell high, than it is a system for actual economies that players want to deal with, because players will want to evacuate the NPC economy as soon as they can, because they want to get the better goods and services.
So it sounds like he's like retired. Like,
yeah.
I'm Googling him and whatnot right now. So
yeah,
it sounds
retired.
like he doesn't work there anymore. He's enjoying life. And honestly, considering how the fan base can get sometimes, I wish him the best. Like, enjoy your retirement, Tony. You did a great job.
Yeah.
He made the Crusader No Remorse, No Regret games, and I enjoyed those in my childhood. So
yeah, what CIG's website says, and when I've talked with CIG about it, is that he's emeritus. When I asked him about what that means, they just said he comes in when we need him, so we can call him up and ask him. I have a lot, like my grandfather did the same thing, and I know a lot of folks who retired do the same thing, where like they'll retire and then they'll make more money after retiring, because they end up becoming effectively paid contractors, so they can just charge whatever they want to, and they end up with
that's how it works at Boeing. I have several family members that retired from Boeing recently, and they end up getting bored. Like they work for the church, or they work for like a local charity or something, and they're putzing around the house, and it's just like they have nothing to do all day because they used to work for their entire life, 8-10 hours a day, and so they end up becoming a part-time contractor for Boeing, making a shit ton of money. But of course, you have to pay. You don't have Boeing benefits anymore, so all the money you make for Boeing tends to be like, well, here's what your benefits would be, and then we'll just pay you like the difference in like actual hourly rate, and you have to figure out how to get your own health insurance. You have to figure out what your all this other crap.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys, they just get bored. They get bored putzing around the house. They're like, I'll call my buddy up at Boeing and see if they need me, and I'll come back in every so often and help them out.
So StarSim may be 80-20 player NPC control, perhaps. No, StarSim is still it's still 90-10 NPC, but it's just not the main economy anymore. So to explain it like this, up until now, the system, the way it's been designed, is effectively you want a mission, the game will generate a mission dynamically based off of the demand of a specific location. So that demand will then issue NPCs to then take, to take goods and services to that location, which will attract outlaws. And those outlaws will then attract bounty hunters, which will also attract police or military. And so the background system is set up so that it can automatically go on its own without any players interfering with it. But it also will allow for players to go to a place dynamically because the mission systems will spawn there. The reason why it was super important in the pre-crafting era was because it was the way you were going to either make the most money, which means you were going to get the most gameplay, which means you're going to get the better chance of making money so you could buy other goods and services or things. Now with crafting around, the best goods and services will not be sold by NPCs, but will be crafted by players. Mm-hmm. So the value of the money is more of a like to get basic stuff to get started, your throwaway gear, your basic starter gear. And to get you, so like that ship you need so you can build an outpost, or those things you need to build an outpost so that you can build your crafting tools. So it's now less of a, the economy needs to function in order for everyone to enjoy the game, and more of a background simulation to make the game feel more alive. That's it. Well, yes, but he's wrong about that point. NPCs will also interact with orgs trying to dominate a market. Yeah.
It's not going to be like EVE Online where you can corner the market and Star
No.
Citizen. Like you're going to be running up against NPCs. CIG is going to reserve the right to control the dials and levers of the economy to hold back player shenanigans.
Like how Elite Dangerous does their economy. I don't know. Wouldn't a player-run market get ruined just like the one in EVE Online? Yeah, it would be.
Yes, it would be.
That's the point.
That's the draw of like, what is that? There was a quote from Deep Space Nine where Quark gets offered the position of the Grand Nagus, and he's going through all the rules and regulations that because I can't remember what happened to the last Grand Nagus. He became like super progressive.
Yeah.
And one of them was like they outlawed, like they had anti-monopoly laws, and Quark was like, "What's the point of going into the business unless you can corner the market?"
Yeah.
Right.
So and that's the thing, is that the player economy is going to be separate from an NPC economy. And if the player economy is separate from the NPC economy, the players will have less of incentive to crash the NPC economy, and also players won't be reliant on the NPC economy not crashing in order for them to function, because you can play the whole game without dealing with the player economy. You just won't have the best gear. If you don't have the best gear, cool, you can play the game. But if you want to compete, and if you want to be in those areas where you want to get like better resources, or if you want to be better overall, you want to get access to cool new things, you want to like squeeze that little bit of performance out of your industry ships or your combat ships, whatever.
I guarantee you, we're eventually going to get like alien ships that are going to be immune to certain types of weapons, and you're going to have to craft weapons that damage those aliens. That's what Elite Dangerous did with the Thargods. You had to have anti-Thargod weapons.
Yeah, specific things will be like be weapons that will be designed for like Vanduul hunting. You have to defeat
anti-Vanduul void, because they did that with Wing Commander 1 to Wing Commander 2, where Wing Commander 2 came out with capital ships and space stations that had like void shields, and you had to use torpedoes to get through to knock the shields down and damage the station or damage the capital ship. They may have something similar in Star Citizen.
CIG can always
shield tech that come out.
Yeah, CIG can always let NPC vendors sell the same grade stuff, or maybe you can loot it if CIG wants a hand in the economy. They can, but I don't think they will. I think they want they want to give players chaos. They want to like have the player section be like, this is your sandbox. Fuck with it all you want. We don't give a shit. Enjoy. Like they want EVE Online situation for this region with Pyro, Nyx. They want that like suicide bombing Gia like kind of experience. You know, those massive like articles spanning about the massive wars that would happen in EVE. They want that kind of shit to happen in Star Citizen, but they don't want it to be to the point where it's ruining everybody else's experience. So they've siphoned off low sec, high sec. So places like Stanton, you don't have to worry about it. You can go play the game and enjoy yourself. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Then if you can go to Pyro, and then it's like, you know, the pirate nation, you know, the pirate confederacy out in here kind of thing, you know. But they always have those levers to also, start selling rare goods if they want to. How do you think the BMN Kraken Privateer will interact with the Star Sim and the economy? Not a clue. Not a goddamn clue. It's either going to be invisible, and I don't think CIG wants that, or it's going to be specifically around players, which, again, I think is going to be really disappointing for some people.
Oh, they're not letting us risk tonight.
What does high sec even mean? You're dead before anything or anyone can show up. Right now you can, but like you can call for help and eventually.
Concord doesn't protect you; they avenge you.
Avenge you. Yeah.
There's a minimum. There's a certain amount of money you have to have in order to high sec gank in EVE Online. You have to be willing to like dispose of like a whole bunch of resources to actually do it. And something you do when you have way too much money and time on your hand, you're just bored.
Yeah.
It's not available to everybody. Not everybody can do it, but it is possible if you have enough resources.
And it'll always be the case. But the risk versus reward, hopefully, in CIG's case, will be that most people won't do it because they don't want to waste millions of credits on
billions of credits, like replacing everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because like they wanted to show up and now they can't get through the jump gate because there's, you know, a battle cruiser stalking them because they showed up with their interests, you know. Remember, CIG can make AI invincible. That's what EVE does with Concord. They're invincible. Yeah. You can't kill them.
In fact, finding a way to get away from Concord or killing Concord is considered an exploit and is a bannable offense.
Yes.
If you manage to do it. If you manage to just like hold off Concord by destroying them or something in some way, you find out they just ban you because it's considered. It's actually in the terms of service for EVE Online.
Yeah,
if I recall correctly.
That's goofy, but I don't play that game.
They promised SCL to have PvE enemies show up to harass industry players. How about NPC players to harass murder hobos? No. I mean, yes. Did you not hear that CIG also wants to have that? As they said in SCL. Anyways, we're kind of going on that one. The main thing that when eventually, the thing is as I said, I think sometime in this one, 1.0 sort of CIG is kind of, this was the last episode we just did together. CIG is both making an alpha and a finished game. Because a lot of the stuff they're trying to make for 1.0 is sort of for a finished game, but not all the parts are in there yet. So when them adding NPCs who could possibly show up to harass you when you're doing refueling is going to be spelled out in the, hey, this could be a trap, or hey, this is very dangerous. And you'd have to go to like Pyro to get that done. Versus just going to the mission in Stanton won't cause as much problems, and you probably just won't make as much money. That's what they said, and what they were meaning. Not that you would just go randomly mining and a pirate, you know, Kraken will show up and kill everyone because CIG hates you.
We had that in like the 3.0, 3.1 branch, where
you'd also have advocacy would show up. They would spawn in to fight the pirates too.
So you just be minding your own business, flying around, and suddenly just a pirate caterpillar would spawn next to you, and it's like, the hell, where'd he come from? So it is something that can happen. Oh, I do remember the wonderful bug where Orison was in before ArcCorp was added, where CIG forgot to set the like safe zone areas to not spawn stuff. And you had like NPC pirates spawning in cutlasses and buccaneers spawning inside the geometry at Loreville.
Yeah.
You'd be at the ASOP terminal and suddenly you get pushed off and there's like an NPC cutlass like clipped into the terminal in front of you.
Yeah, players
Hilarious.
used to camp
Absolutely hilarious.
stations to get the UE Navy to show up. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it
we
used to be.
yeah.
It used to be a thing. The only thing that they lacked at the time was just a call button where you could call the police, basically.
You had emergency beacons for combat assistance
For
you could
players.
put out.
Oh,
Yeah, for players. Nobody really used them for anything.
Yeah.
I very rarely saw them.
So it's just a matter of these systems have existed in the past. They're reworking them and hopefully putting them in the game in the future. Are they going to come in anytime soon? Who knows? You know, even the stuff they talked about at SCL, we don't even know when that's coming in. It doesn't sound like it's coming 4.7, so the earliest it would be is 4.8, and that's May. You know, or 4.9, which would be July. So you're still talking about like half a year away. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you to HC Vertigo and Access 0096. If you did enjoy this, make sure you follow both of them on Twitch and YouTube, and follow us here on the Astropub on Twitch, and subscribe to us on the Captain's Table on YouTube. Hit the like button.
Yep.
Comment down below. You want your thoughts down below as well. I'm still going to be streaming for another hour and 35 minutes minimum because I'm doing Pubathon. So we've been going for 8 hours now. So I've still got about we're at 9 hours and 40 minutes or so. So, but thank you again.
Good luck to you, Paul.
Well, I know this community. We'll get down to like 20 minutes left, and someone will be like, here's a 20 bomb. You know, like here's $50. Keep going. Like, God damn it.
Looking at you, whoever the guy is that keeps dropping 40.
I think it was
Don't mention the name.
Rocket Shrike. Rocket Shrike. That's Shampasta. Why am I?
Oh God.
It might have been Shampasta. There
you go.
There he goes.
There we go.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Supposed to give it a bunch of subs.
There we
to
go.
everybody.
Then now it's back up to 2 hours and 4 minutes. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.